So I was thinking to myself about Matthew chapter 18, verse 6 to 9. It talks about how, like, you need to cut off your arm if it causes you to stumble, cut off your eye if it causes you to stumble, and how there are many things that causes people to stumble, right? And I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this could actually be the perfect, like, verse, like part of scripture to be used to help reinforce the protection of women and children, right? Like, it could even be incorporated into law where we chop off things off of people who use those things to hurt women and to hurt children, right? And then my logical thinking locked in, and I was like, Moteane, why would a patriarchal religion use its tools to protect women and children? Patriarchal. The patriarchy is here to serve itself, to ensure that men get everything that they can get with zero consequences. They don't have to work that hard to get the things that they feel like they deserve. And why would anything that's here to, perpetuate the patriarchy, why would that very same thing be used to protect women and children? Like, you know,
Growing up in the church and then finding out that rape isn't a sin, that there is no commandment or any point in the scriptures where it is explicitly written that thou shalt not rape a woman, thou shalt not take a woman against her will. That was a major red flag for me. But it did not end there. It did not end with him not speaking up against rape, because you would find scriptures where he says that sex slavery is okay. Scriptures where he instructed that if a young girl who isn't married gets raped, she should marry her. He's also finding scriptures where he instructed that if a woman who is betrothed to another man gets raped, both she and the man should be stoned to death. And I want us to ponder on this last bit just a little bit, because I feel like whenever people bring this scripture up, there is a certain context that is missing that really, really needs to be present anytime it's brought up. First of all, how insane it is that this woman is blamed for getting raped and she's unalived alongside her. Like she is part of the crime and not the victim of the crime. That's crazy. And you would also find that it is only in this one instance that a rapist is being held accountable for his crime. But really, why was he held accountable this time? It's because the woman he raped was betrothed to another man. This particular scripture encapsulates that term male-centered, like to the T. The person that was 100% centered here was the husband. His feelings, his ego. That is why the woman got unalived, because she brought shame upon him. Even though this was something she did not want, it doesn't matter. You brought shame on your husband. You made him look bad. You made him feel bad. You should pay for this. And this is because women are seen as property. They are seen as things to belong and be taken by a man. So when a single woman gets, nobody is angry because she doesn't belong to anybody. So her can marry her. Now she belongs to him. Nobody is offended. But when a woman who already belongs to someone, in this instance now this woman was already betrothed, she already belongs to a man, was taken by someone else, everybody is offended. Because how dare you take another man's property? So now he gets held accountable, not because he raped a woman, not because of that crime, no, but because of the crime of raping another man's wife, taking another man's property. And this, should I call it an ideology or a mentality or concept, whatever, is further reinforced when you look at the 10 commandments. Because in the 10 commandments, there is no commandment, like I said, that has in there that, oh, thou shalt not arrow-word a woman, right? Or arrow-word a young girl. The commandment you would find there is, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. The only commandment that is there that relates to, oh, don't touch a woman is don't touch another man's woman. And then there is also the fact that in that same commandments, men and female servants were listed and put in the same category as things and property, right? Like, why did they do that? Like, why are they listing full-blown human beings and putting them in that same category as objects and property. Like it's just so weird. It never sat right with my spirit. The more I ponder on the scriptures, the more it just becomes more clear that there is no way that the scriptures were not cooked up by men. Because if there is a God out there, right, and he is a good God, and he is a loving God, and he is a just God, there is no way this kind of God would write something like this or give something like this, inspire something like this, because it makes no sense. Why would a good, just, loving, pure, merciful God, kind God, want to put any human being under another person like this, in the way where they are now listed as property, right? Listed as things, listed amongst things. Like, that don't make any sense to me. And the more I ponder on it, the more it just becomes clear when I think about history and how them colonizer, and I know I'm deviating here, but like, I cannot help but think about how them people treated enslaved people, right? How they saw them as properties that belonged to them, and how, of course, they were very keen on protecting these enslaved people that they believed belonged to them, and how they had a system of passing on ownership to other people by reselling these people if they wanted to, or if these people wanted to buy these people from them, these enslaved people from them. So people cannot just come in and take their enslaved people, because that would be coveting another man's property, coveting another man's goods, or coveting another man's, like they put it in this scripture, servants, right? So they had a system to get around that. And again, it just goes to show how, like, first of all, we all know, well, maybe not all of us, but those of us that know, we know about how there are scriptures that justify slavery, basically, and how them enslavers, them colonizers use the scriptures to justify why what they are doing is okay. So is it surprising when we see a scripture like this that talks about that not only one categorize servants and wives and people basically as property that belongs to a man, but this particular scripture is also saying that other people should not be able to come in and covet these people, quote unquote, because they belong to this man. So with scriptures like this, that is basically, in my humble opinion, subtly hinting to people that people can belong to them, it's no wonder that there are men that sees their wives as properties that belong to them, as properties that they own and should have 100% control over, the same way they have 100% control over their house or their cars, or I don't know, their pair of glasses. With scriptures like this, it's no wonder that there are men that not only sees their women as properties, but they also treat them like properties.
And then it got me thinking about how, like, even on a societal level, we will know in the community or in our families that Uncle so-and-so is hitting his wife. So-and-so is hitting, abusing his girlfriend. So-and-so was touched by Uncle so, you know what I'm saying? Like, we will know these things, but it usually just ends there. Like, it ends at being acknowledged, and then it's not seriously condemned. Even if it is condemned, it's not to like a very, far degree, to the point where we actually want to do something about that problem. It's like, yo, mare re tla reng, mare ing mare, modimo abatus. So,
and just to be clear, this is not me saying that, oh, the 10 commandments are bad and that we should throw them away. That's not what I'm saying. I did not say that, and I would never say that. Because, of course, in the 10 commandments, they are good commandments, right, that can help people be on the right path. But two things can be right at the same time, right? While the 10 commandments have all the good stuff that are in there, there is also stuff like this that's saying that people can belong to people. That I believe personally, and this is a hill I would die on, that isn't good. It's scriptures like this that really start to make you understand why our world looks the way it looks today, and why the men in our society navigate this world the way they do, and why they treat women the way they do. It's because of how women have been portrayed in the scriptures and where they have been placed, and what exactly it is that the scripture says the purpose of a woman is. Like, if you really want to peel it all back, you have to go to Genesis. to the very beginning, you go to the creation story, because that's where the entire mentality of what a woman is and what she's created for and what her purpose is was formed. That's the foundation of the BS that the women in the Bible had to deal with, and the foundation of the BS that we, women of today, deal with. The creation story says God, when he was creating the animals, created them male and females. He created them at the same time. He created them equally. When it was time to create man, he said, let us make man in our image, and then he created him. Who did he not create alongside man? Woman. So he created a male. Then he named the male Adam. Then he gave Adam work, named the animals and whatever. And then after a while, he's looking at Adam's like, Adam is bored. Like, this man looks lonely. Oh my goodness, I think we should give this man a plaything so that he will not be this bored. He needs a companion. So what did he do? He decided to create a woman for Adam. And now when it's time to create Eve, he did not go to create Eve the way he created Adam so she can be an independent person that just came about on her own. He decided to make her from Adam, which is biologically not even possible. So not only are women an afterthought, they were created from men, for men. And that is why in the scriptures, when men have their way with women, nothing happens to the man. It only becomes a problem if a man went and had his way with someone else's woman. Women were created for men, for their pleasures, to be used as playthings. This mentality is all across the scriptures. Everywhere you would find this. So it's no wonder when you have a society that everything about them is gotten from this book, that you find the men in society acting the way they act towards women. If you want to get to the bottom of what is wrong with the society, check out the gods that the people in the society follow.
Why would a patriarchal religion use its tools to protect women and children? Patriarchal. The patriarchy is here to serve itself, to ensure that men get everything that they can get with zero consequences,